They told you to be realistic, to keep your feet on the ground, to play it safe, take the job, follow the rules, and never ask for too much. But what if I told you the most dangerous idea you could ever swallow is the idea of settling? That realism is the slow poison that kills more dreams than failure ever could. Because somewhere inside you, buried beneath the noise, the doubt, the trauma, the fear, the fatigue, there is a fire. It doesn't scream, it waits, quiet, patient. But every now and then, when the world goes silent, you hear it whisper, "There's more for you than this." And that whisper, that flicker of something bigger, that is not a fantasy. That is your soul remembering its contract with destiny. Relentless belief is not about pretending life is easy. It's not toxic positivity. It's not manifesting on a vision board and waiting for the universe to deliver. No relentless belief is forged in the furnace of rejection. It's the kind of belief that keeps showing up after everyone else quits. It's the kind of belief Thomas Edison carried through 1,000 failures before lighting up the world. It's the kind of belief that told Walt Disney, after being told he lacked imagination, to keep dreaming, and then he built a kingdom out of it. You want to change your life? It starts here, right now. Not with better tools, not with more money, not with someone else giving you permission, but with the audacity to believe. So fully, so violently, so unshakably that your belief becomes a law, a gravitational force that bends reality toward your vision. Most people never make it, not because they weren't smart enough or strong enough, but because their belief expired when the world said no. Don't let that be you. Refuse to die with the best parts of you still hidden in your bones. When Napoleon Hill wrote, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve," he wasn't selling a fantasy, he was documenting a truth. That your inner world, your beliefs, your mindset, your conviction, is the root system of your entire life. And if those roots are rotting in doubt, fear, and mediocrity, don't be surprised when your dreams fail to grow. But belief alone isn't magic. Belief is a hammer. It's meant to be used, to build, to break, to shape your future in the face of resistance. When others stop at the wall, belief is what makes you dig under it, climb over it, or smash straight through it. You see, every great mind who ever changed the world, Lincoln, Ford, Carnegie, Jobs, they weren't born with power. They were born with questions, pain, hunger, and somewhere along the way, they decided to believe in something greater than what they were handed. That decision, not talent, not luck, that decision changed everything. And make no mistake, belief is a decision. It's not a mood. It's not a feeling. It's a daily vow, a private contract you sign with yourself every morning. I will not fold, I will not fade. I will not live as a diluted version of who I could be. But belief alone can't breathe in a vacuum. You need clarity. Because belief without vision is like a rocket with no destination, full of force, but destined to drift. So let me ask you something dangerous, something honest. What do you want? I'm not asking what your parents wanted for you. I'm not asking what your job or culture or education told you was possible. I'm asking, when the lights go out and you're left alone with your truth, what sets your spirit on fire? Because clarity is not just about goals. It's about alignment, about standing face to face with the life you're called to live, not the one you've been conditioned to accept. Most people live in circles. Endless loops of busy work, fake smiles and silent regrets. But belief turns into power the moment it's paired with a clear and dangerous vision. Think about it. A man with a vague dream will be crushed by distraction, but a man with a mission will make the world move. That's why Steve Jobs was obsessed. Why Mandela endured decades in prison without breaking. Because they knew why they were here. Clarity isn't just knowing where you're going. It's knowing what you're willing to bleed for. Because the road won't be paved. The crowd won't always cheer. And sometimes your own mind will be the loudest enemy. But when your vision is anchored in something deeper than ego, when it comes from your soul, from your pain, from your purpose, then no setback can drown it. Purpose is the compass. Belief is the engine. Discipline is the driver. And this is where most people vanish. They start with fire, They start with passion, but when the high fades and the grind sets in, they disappear into excuses, into comfort, into waiting for motivation. But the truth is, you don't need motivation. You need consistency. You need to become the kind of person who keeps showing up, rain or shine, tears or laughter. Muhammad Ali said, I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit, suffer now, and live the rest of your life as a champion. That's what discipline is. It's the bridge between belief and reality. Discipline is lonely, it's boring, it's unsexy, it's waking up before the world, doing the reps no one sees, saying no to the distractions that promise dopamine but rob you of destiny. It's what builds the foundation of trust within yourself. And when you trust yourself, not hope, not wish, but know, then your belief becomes invincible. You want to move mountains? Build discipline like it's your religion. But even that is not enough. Because life doesn't play fair. There will be storms, breakdowns, betrayals. Plans will fall apart. People you love will leave. Things you built will burn. That's where resilience is born. Not in the calm, but in the chaos. Do you really want to live the life you imagine? Then understand this. You are not owed an easy path. You are owed nothing. But you are capable of everything if you can learn to rise again when everything inside you wants to stay down. Lincoln battled depression his entire life. He buried children. He lost election after election, but he got up again and again until history carved his name in stone. That's resilience. Not perfection, not fearlessness, just the quiet decision, I will not end here. And here's the twist. The most powerful kind of resilience is not just about holding on. It's about transforming. Taking the wound and letting it make you wiser. Taking the loss and letting it make you lethal. Taking the darkness and lighting a fire so bright it blinds doubt itself. Because what you're really building here through belief, clarity, purpose, discipline, and resilience is identity. The version of you who no longer chases greatness, but embodies it. Because identity is the final battlefield. The world can throw 1,000 challenges at you, but none will ever be greater than the voice in your head that says, who do you think you are? You see, belief that's merely emotional will crumble in the face of doubt. But belief that becomes identity, that becomes inevitable. When you don't just believe you can, but you are the kind of person who does. That's the tipping point. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your identity. So upgrade it, sharpen it, rebuild it brick by brick until your actions are not a fight but a reflection. Until doing the hard thing feels normal. Until the impossible feels familiar. Let the world call you obsessed. Let them call you unrealistic, delusional, dreamer. Good. That means you're doing it right. Because anyone who ever built anything that mattered had to look a little insane to the mediocre. They laughed at Henry Ford, said horses were the future. He didn't listen. He went deaf to the noise and built a movement. They doubted Oprah Winfrey, a poor girl from Mississippi who they said was unfit for television. Now she owns empires. They told Elon Musk that launching rockets into space was madness. Now he's sending them to Mars. You have no idea what kind of power is sleeping inside of you until you decide to live as if failure is just a step, not a sentence. But it's not just about rising for yourself. Because when you shift your identity, when you become the example, you start pulling others up with you. Your belief becomes contagious. Your life becomes a permission slip for someone else to rise. That's how legacies are built, not through luck, not through titles, but through transformation. And transformation, my friend, is a violent process. It rips away comfort. It offends who you used to be. It demands that you die to your excuses and be reborn in your decisions. That you stop asking for signs and start being one. This is why action matters. You can read all the books, watch all the videos, recite all the affirmations, but without action, it's all noise. The universe doesn't respond to intentions. It responds to motion, to energy, to proof. Want a better life? Build it. Not with your mouth, with your moves. Let your calendar show your values. Let your effort speak louder than your declarations. Let your daily habits write your future, because they will, whether you like it or not. Every second you hesitate, every hour you procrastinate, every day you shrink from the work, you teach your mind that comfort matters more than greatness. But when you act boldly, even imperfectly, you build momentum. And momentum is divine. It silences the doubt, it crushes hesitation, and it turns fear into fuel. You stop thinking, you start moving, and movement creates miracles. Because belief without action is just potential. But belief with action, that's how revolutions start. But don't confuse motion with progress. This isn't about being busy. It's about being aligned. Your action must come from purpose, from clarity, from that fire we talked about, the one too many people bury to keep others comfortable. And once you move with purpose, you begin to attract purpose. People, opportunities, breakthroughs, not because you're lucky, but because the world begins to reflect your vibration. That's not magic. That's frequency. That's physics. When your belief is loud, the universe echoes back. When your energy is clean, your path becomes clear. And when your work matches your worth, the world starts to pay attention. But there's another key you must hold tightly to, and it's one most overlooked. Gratitude. Not the soft social media kind that's cute for captions. I'm talking about savage gratitude. Gratitude that survives the storm. Gratitude that says, I may not be where I want to be yet, but I refuse to curse the climb. Because what you appreciate appreciates. Gratitude isn't weakness, it's power. It's what keeps your spirit from rotting while your hands are still building. It's what lets you keep your heart soft while your will stays hard. And in a world obsessed with more, it reminds you that you're already breathing in a miracle. Gratitude gives you perspective, and perspective gives you peace. And peace, that's what lets you endure the fire without losing your soul in the process. Because make no mistake, the road to becoming who you were born to be will cost you comfort. It will cost you relationships. It will cost you the luxury of playing small. But what it gives you in return is so much more. It gives you sovereignty over your life. And that, above all, is the ultimate prize. Freedom. Freedom from doubt, freedom from fear, freedom from the opinions of people who are too afraid to chase their own dreams. When you walk in belief, you walk in power, not borrowed power, not performance, but something sacred, something unbreakable. And when life throws its worst at you, you won't just survive it, you'll transmute it. You'll take the pain, the betrayal, the failure, and turn it into fuel. You'll alchemize rock bottom into solid ground. You'll remember that a man with belief is never truly defeated, only forged. So let the world doubt you. Let them question your pace, mock your dreams, shrug at your silence. Just make sure, when the dust settles, you're still standing, not because you got lucky, but because you were never willing to settle. That is the power of relentless belief. Not a feeling, not a phase, but a way of life. So now we arrive at the edge, the precipice, the moment where every voice of fear, fatigue, and hesitation gathers in one final attempt to pull you back into the shadows of what you were not, what you could be. But you've come too far to turn around. You've stared into the mirror and watched your own excuses wither. You've walked through storms of silence when no one clapped, no one noticed, and still you moved. You've broken through layer after layer of who the world told you to be, and now you're close not to the finish line, but to something far more important, to the beginning. Because the truth is, the version of you who needed external proof, who begged for validation, who sought comfort in the arms of distraction, that version has already started to die. And in its place, something sacred is being born. It's not about the millions, not about the praise, not about the trophies, or followers, or applause. It's about knowing, without a single ounce of doubt, that you became the kind of person you once thought only existed in books and dreams. You became inevitable. You learned to rise without resentment, to walk without whining, to suffer without surrender. You stopped flinching when life hit hard, because now you hit back not with anger but with intention, with grace, with power that comes not from domination, but from alignment. And now, the same people who once asked, "Who does he think he is?" will ask, "How did he do it?" You won't need to answer. Your life will speak for you. Your discipline, your peace, your clarity, your relentless forward motion, that will be the sermon, that will be the proof. And when others ask for the secret, you'll smile, because there is no secret, just belief. Relentless belief. Belief that moved when the road disappeared. That persisted when logic screamed no. That refused to compromise with mediocrity or settle for safety or bow to the opinions of spectators who never dared to step into the arena. Belief that knew, if the fire is real, the path will appear. And it did. Because that's how life works for those who dare. It bends for the bold. It shifts for the certain. It transforms not when you ask it to, but when you command it with every action, every decision, every breath. You don't chase destiny. You become it. And when your belief becomes that pure, that absolute, you'll understand why so many never made it. Not because they weren't capable, but because they were never willing to burn for it. But you were. You burned through the fear, through the fatigue, through the years of invisible effort, through the nights of doubt and days of silence and moments of madness, and still you did not stop. So this is your moment now. To rise not just as someone with potential, but as proof. To become a walking, breathing testament to what's possible when a human being refuses to give up on the truth that was planted in their soul before the world taught them to settle. And if that truth is still faint in you, if you're still climbing, still stumbling, still searching, let me remind you, you are not late. You are not behind. You are becoming. Every scar, every loss, every lonely hour has been carving you into the kind of force this world doesn't know how to handle, the kind that doesn't just survive, but transcends. Because relentless belief doesn't end with the dream achieved. It begins again. Higher, wider, deeper. Because once you've proven to yourself what's possible, you'll never go back to living as if it isn't. And from that moment on, you won't just believe. You'll know. And that knowing, that's what makes you unstoppable. The part one, this is the power of relentless belief. Not just the fire that starts your journey, but the fuel that carries you through every storm, every silence, every shadow, until you become the light yourself. So go. Not timidly. Not cautiously. Go with fury. Go with grace. Go with a belief that makes the world adjust. Because the world will. Not for the ones who wait, but for the ones who decide. Relentlessly, unapologetically, unstoppably. Like you.